Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian. Welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. We'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be talking about what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Bronny James here. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Now, as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith has been handling this Bronny James story with kid gloves. And I think the reason he's given Bronny all of this grace is because he's LeBron's son. What's really unfair is that he doesn't give that same grace to kids who don't come from parents with money. Really says a lot, because all the other players that Stephen A. Smith has spoken about in the past, whether they're rookies or not, he had no problem giving you his unadulterated thoughts and feelings about them. But because Bronny James is LeBron's son and LeBron is a billionaire, he decided to just take a more tactful approach. That says a lot. That really says a lot. Like, I'm not going to criticize him because he's LeBron's son and he's rich. So therefore, we need to handle him with kid gloves. Really nice way to show how impartial you are when covering sports. You should just be covering the players regardless of who they are, right? That's why I made the comments some months ago. I said, had Kwame Brown's father been Michael Jordan, you think Stephen A. Smith would have been saying, of course he wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't, right? Of course he would not. Like let's be for real. So Stephen A. Smith has decided that he doesn't want to really be critical of Bronny, but it seems like even he's reaching his breaking point with some of the stuff that's happening with Bronny. The latest one, apart from the fact that now he's on the injured report, but the one before that we heard that just pretty much had a lot of people just in total disgust, even to the point where Ryan Clark had to come out there and put out a statement, which was when we heard the news that Bronny was not going to be traveling with the South Bay Lakers, which is the G League team, right? We heard that he wasn't going to be traveling with the team. Basically, from what I can ascertain from the information that was put out, was because he didn't want to travel commercial. That was like the only plausible conclusion that one can come to. Because if you look at his G League numbers, he was averaging at the point. Did they just inflate his numbers? I don't know. It looked like they just inflated his numbers. I don't know what the hell they just did. He was averaging. Anyway, he's averaging, they're saying 5 points per game on 21% shooting from the field, 0% shooting from the three, while getting you 3 turnovers a game with 3 assists and 2.5 rebounds. Those are his G League numbers. His NBA numbers, 0.7 points per game. No, not even 1 point, not even 1 rebound, not even 1 assist per game, because he wasn't playing any minutes. So if you look at his numbers, right, one would then begin to ask the question, well, what has this guy done to deserve this preferential treatment? That is the question that Ryan Clark asked. He's like, what has Bronny done for him to deserve all of this special treatment, right? Now, some of us have been saying that Bronny doesn't look like he's NBA ready, but Stephen A. Smith decided to take it a step further on the Stephen A. Smith show, where he was discussing LeBron's decision to take a step away from, to take a step back from social media. And Stephen A. Smith basically said, no, he said, word for word, he said that Bronny James doesn't deserve to be in the NBA. So for those of you who didn't hear what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Bronny James, I want to play his comments for you now, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
Let me get to the bigger point about LeBron James. LeBron James choosing to step off of social media. And I was hesitant to bring this up because I didn't want to. Because LeBron James is approaching age 40. He is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, one of the top 2 players in NBA history. And we will miss him when he is gone. He's a special dude on all fronts. But none of us are perfect. And LeBron James electing to get off of social media, is that because of you, LeBron James? Or is it because of your son, Bronny James, and his struggles in the D League and the NBA, prior to that, college basketball, prior to that, high school basketball, when he was an All-American averaging 14 points a game, and people said no All-American averages 14 points a game? It's probably the latter. You know, Greg Anthony alluded to this earlier, and that's why I asked him the question. When you think about LeBron James and what LeBron James had to say, Greg Anthony made a very valid point. The level of vitriol that LeBron James has experienced throughout his career, he's one of the most scrutinized superstars in history. It's not because he's LeBron James. It's because when he came along is when social media shortly followed. Imagine what scrutiny Charles Barkley and MJ and Isaiah and others would have received had there been the existence of social media, had there been Instagram and X, or formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook and TikTok and all of this other stuff. Imagine what it would have been if they played during that time. So we understand that LeBron James has received a heightened level of scrutiny, but we also understand that he's fully capable of taking and absorbing it and stomaching it. So why step away now? Truthfully speaking, it only makes sense that it's Bronny James. Not to be redundant, but it's necessary to be that way. Bronny James doesn't belong in the NBA. Not yet. Some people say never. I don't believe that. I believe the kid has a chance. And I think that he's going to do, I believe in him. I believe in his work ethic, his faith, et cetera, et cetera. But he's not ready yet. Which brings this back to LeBron James. We don't have to scrutinize Bronny James in terms of points per game average and all of this other stuff. Please, he's a kid. He'll come along. He'll work on his game. Hopefully, he'll earn his stripes. Respectfully, this is all LeBron's fault.
So you heard Stephen A. Smith's points. He's saying that he doesn't deserve to be in the NBA. Well, let's address that. Does Bronny deserve to be in the NBA? Well, some could say, well, there are a lot of players that have been picked as the 55th pick, understandably. But let's look at the circumstances under which Bronny James got selected. Yes, he got selected as the 55th pick, but going into draft night, we usually other players, what they do to increase their draft stock is to go work out for all the other teams that will be interested in them. Bronny's camp said that Bronny was only going to be working out for two teams. A 55th pick was saying that he's only going to work out for two teams. That was the Los Angeles Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. That was the first red flag. Because prior to that, what we heard Rich Paul say was that when he spoke to Bronny, that Bronny said he just wanted to hear his name get called. So if you just want to hear your name get called, it means that it doesn't matter what team you get drafted to. It doesn't matter what team you get drafted to. So for you to be selective and basically to shun 98% of the league and say, no, this is the only team I want to work with, then it means that, look, I'm questioning whether or not this guy is actually serious about being here. That's the first part. The second bit of news that we heard was that, oh, Bronny, if you select Bronny, he's not going to be able to go to, if you select him, meaning the other teams warned him, Bronny's going to go to Australia. If you select him, he's going to go to Australia. So now he's making demands that he's going to go to Australia because they wanted to ensure that the Lakers got him. That was it. And then the third one was that they're now saying that Bronny's not going to be traveling with his away team. Did you hear the numbers that I read off for you? Does that sound like a player that doesn't get to travel with his away team? So you put all of those things together and it was just like, okay, so what's the purpose of Bronny even being in the NBA right now? What is the absolute purpose of it? Because to me, it just looks like he's there to just basically prop up LeBron's image. Oh, we had the father and son moment. Fantastic. You had the moment. That's what it's about, apparently. So to me, Stephen A. Smith is 100% correct. They just look like just one big photo op. That's essentially what it looked like. And I think he's 100% correct. Right now, he doesn't look like he deserves to be in it. And with the treatment that he's been getting, man, but then again, some people will defend it as usual. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about what Stephen A. Smith had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you on the next show. Peace.